Rebecca met her soulmate on the 21st of May 2006 at 8:20 in Class 4B. As soon as she saw him, she knew she did not want any other man. And so it was decided. And so it was. They married 5 years later. She wanted the same dress she had seen in an old black and white film. She was so happy when she walked into the church that she could hardly breathe. She was convinced it would last forever. She would never have left him. Never. But things did not go as planned. One sunny morning, whilst making her breakfast, she asked him, "It's such a wonderful day. Why don't we go to the country?" She would never receive his answer. But things did not go as planned. Rebecca took it as an unjustifiable affront of destiny and would not accept it. To her, he was not dead. Friends gathered close and insisted that she come stay with them. They wanted her to be away from that house so full of painful memories, and they tried in every possible way to convince her. But no one understood. Not completely. Something was moving in the shadows, unleashing immeasurable forces. She would never for anything in the world abandon the place that still throbbed with the presence of her only love. She locked herself in the house and cut all communication with the outside world until, bit by bit, any contact became more and more scarce, that it ceased altogether. She had resolved not to cry, as she was afraid that the tears would wash away her pain, and she wanted to keep it close to her heart. Sometimes, overwhelmed by the great sadness, she could contain her pain no longer, and so she would cry, then having to collect her tears and drink them back into her body. Rebecca was an earthly woman, grounded and very much attached to solid ideas. The abstract questions of infinity, the existence of God belonged to other people. Conversations of the supernatural are met with only vague intrigue. Every morning she would read the last book he had written. As she did so, she felt his warm presence, and this drove away all sadness. She read it as soon as she woke. Every morning the same pages, the same intense concentration. Every night she would set the table for two and chat convivially with the empty chair. She was pushing with such force and with such unshakable conviction the idea of death that it was impossible to resist. Her love was stronger and more determined. She had started a tug of war with the immutable rules of nature, but she had no doubt that she would win. It was as if, in the natural order of things, Rebecca had created a force, a gap, a space, which in some way had to be filled. It was then that she began to see the strange happenings in the house. It seemed to her with increasing strength that it was him who was timidly reproaching her life. When she would try on a new dress or pair of shoes, looking in the mirror, she would ask his opinion with childish coquetry. She joked with him on how everyone believed he was dead, laughing over it with great enthusiasm. They were all mad as March hares. He was there, and all the objects were as convinced as she was. She continued working as if nothing had happened, maintaining a normal life, and so his presence was made ever more real and ever more concrete. He was there, on the precipice of his world that looms over ours, and he was about to jump that vast divide and break the impenetrable veil. She felt him there, so close. The hours were long and wonderful, in which the universe seemed to have found a stable center in that room, in that bed, in that embrace. The next morning she woke. She had slept little as her running emotions kept her soul restless. A concern enveloped her in that waking moment, and she thought. She thought long and hard, and that was her mistake. She had an unexpected and sudden awareness lasting no longer than half a moment, fleeting like a ghost. She was immediately aware of her mistake, but it was too late. He disappeared, suddenly, in silence and in a moment. It would be easy to think back now to that night and resolve that it was all in Rebecca's mind. In my mind, but it did not go as so. He was returned to me. My dream came true, but then he vanished in an instant. I had retied the thread that bound us. Then in just one moment he was newly taken from me, taken back into the unreachable, into the world from which I had ripped him.